Welcome, everybody. I'm Theodore Whitlow. Today I'm here with Bob Reed, the Executive Director of Term Limits for U.S. Congress, and Dale Graywolf, the National Director of Term Limits for U.S. Congress. Term Limits for U.S. Congress is a grassroots political action committee. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's dive right into the conversation. So, Bob, I've heard there's a way to add a term limits amendment to the U.S. Constitution without Congress. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes, absolutely. That's something that a lot of people don't realize. There's two ways to add an amendment to the Constitution. They're both defined in Article 5 of the U.S. Constitution. The first way is something that everybody's pretty comfortable with, which is the idea that if the House votes for an amendment with a supermajority and it passes with a supermajority in the Senate, then it goes out and has to be ratified by 38 states and gets added to the Constitution. Well, what they don't realize is there's a second option. And the reason most folks don't realize is because the people in government really don't want us to know this, because it's so much easier if they're the only route because they get to make all the decisions. But the founders were brilliant people. They realized that the day might come when our government turned into the same type of aristocracy that they fought against. So they said, okay, we need to have an option in place in case there's a problem with Congress so that we can add amendments to the Constitution. But they made it difficult. They didn't want it to be easy, because what they didn't want is the flux of, as typical democracy where, this year we want this, next year we want this. So they made it just as hard in the second option. And the way that it works is if 34 states submit an application for an Article 5 convention for a specific topic, then Article 5 convention is called. Congress has to call it. It says it shall be called. And the delegates from all 50 states go to this convention and they discuss that topic and they come up with a verbiage for an amendment. Once they have the verbiage in place, they vote on it. If it passes, then it has to go out and be ratified by 38 states, just like the first option. Now, some people know that we're working towards this, and so there's a lot of disinformation out there. And one of the biggest ones is they say, we should be scared because the whole Constitution will be up in the air. Well, no. The fact is, it's incredibly rare, I think only once or twice, have we ever had a situation in the United States where there's been 34 states that are specifically right-wing or specifically left-wing. It just doesn't happen, which means the only thing that's going to pass in an Article 5 convention is something that crosses party line divides. And that, like I said, 34 states is what it's going to take just to get the convention called. It's still going to take 38 states to ratify, just like the first option. So that's how we're going to do it. Our goal is to use the second option of Article 5 to add a term limits amendment to the Constitution.
Thank you.